into the Bering Sea. This wasn't a movie. This was a real fishing boat in the Bering Sea. Captain Jeff Hathaway had done this run for years. Alaskan snow crab. Brutal money, brutal water. People sign up for this job on purpose. You don't clock in at a desk. You step onto a boat where the ocean makes the rules. It was February. Dark, freezing. The kind of cold that burns your face when you breathe. Waves hitting like cars. Wind strong enough to knock you off your feet. But this is normal out there. This is just another trip, because that's what these crews do, no matter the weather, no matter the risk. Captain Jeff Hathaway and his crew disappear into the water, and the ocean keeps moving like nothing happened. Because this one trip can feed your whole family. Then, somewhere out in the Bering Sea, everything stops. No radio call, no signal, no one comes home. Blowout on the horizon. On April 20th, 2010, the Deepwater Horizon drilling rig was operating about 40 miles off the Louisiana coast in the Gulf of Mexico. It was owned by Transocean, working for BP, staffed with 126 people. The job that night was to finish an exploratory well called Macondo and seal it so it could later produce oil. One of the senior crew members on board was Jason Anderson. He was 35 years old, a tool pusher, basically a high-responsibility supervisor on the drill floor. Offshore work like this pays well, but it's isolation, long shifts, constant pressure, and constant risk. Anderson wasn't new to it. This was his career. That night, the well started acting wrong. Pressure readings from deep in the well weren't behaving the way they were supposed to. Then, in a matter of seconds, the entire rig was hit by a violent blowout. A massive burst from the well reached the rig, followed by an explosion and fire that tore through the structure. Survivors later said it happened so fast they had almost no time to react. The blast and fire left 11 workers missing and injured 17 more. Jason Anderson was among the 11 who never made it home. The Deepwater Horizon burned through the night, then sank 2 days later, and the damaged well went on to trigger the largest offshore oil spill in U.S. history. Chasing the tornado. May 31st, 2013, outside El Reno, Oklahoma, veteran storm researcher Tim Samaras, his 24-year-old son Paul, and their partner Carl Young were tracking a violent supercell that was spawning tornadoes across open farmland. They weren't out there for thrills. This was their work. They chased storms, got close, and placed instruments in the path to collect data that could help save lives in the future. That evening, the tornado they were following did something almost no one expected. It didn't move in a straight line. It suddenly widened, changed direction, and accelerated. Roads vanished in heavy rain. Visibility dropped to almost zero. The storm boxed them in. Within minutes, contact with their vehicle was lost. Search teams later found the car, heavily damaged. All 3 men were gone. The last rope fix. Lobsang Janghu Sherpa was one of the strongest high-altitude guides on Earth. He wasn't a tourist. He wasn't some rich climber chasing a dream. This was his job. In the mid-1990s, Lobsang was guiding clients on Mount Everest, carrying their oxygen, fixing ropes, dragging people through the death zone, where the air is so thin your body starts shutting down. He had a reputation for doing the impossible and then going back up the mountain the next week, because that's how Sherpa climbers provide for entire families. 1996 was brutal on Everest. Storms, chaos, rescues. Lobsang survived that season. Most people would retire after seeing that. He didn't. He kept working. Later that same year, during a support mission for another expedition in Nepal, the aircraft transporting him went down. He didn't come home. Fire from the earth. June 1991, Japan. 2 volcanologists, Katia Kraft and her husband Maurice, are standing near an active eruption, cameras rolling. For years they filmed volcanoes up close, studying gas, ash, lava, pressure, all the stuff most people only see in disaster movies. Their goal was simple. If they could prove how dangerous these eruptions really were, maybe governments would listen, evacuate faster, and save entire towns. Katia was known for getting almost impossibly close to the action in her silver heat suit. Maurice was the one always talking into the camera, explaining what you were seeing in plain language so regular people could understand. They became famous in science circles for going places nobody else would go. In early June 1991, while documenting activity at Mount Unzen, the volcano changed fast. The eruptions surged. The area they were in was suddenly no longer survivable, and both of them were taken in the event. They died together, still doing the work they chose. Wirecutter. October 2009, Helmand Province, Afghanistan. Staff Sergeant Olaf Oz Schmid was part of one of the most dangerous jobs on Earth: bomb disposal. His work was simple to describe and almost impossible to do. He walked out in front of everyone else, found hidden explosive devices on roads and in buildings, and made them safe, so his team and local civilians could keep moving. By this point in the deployment, Schmid had already handled dozens of devices. Other soldiers trusted him. When something suspicious was found, they called him. That was the routine. On October 31st, during another call-out, he went forward to deal with yet another device. During that operation, there was a blast. He did not survive. He was 30 years old. After his death, fellow soldiers said the same thing. He saved a lot of lives before losing his own. The Fall Guy. July 12, 2017. A TV production set in Georgia. Professional stunt performer John Berniker is preparing for a fall scene. This is not CGI. This is not animation. This is a real person doing a real drop. Berniker was highly respected in the industry. He had worked on major films. Other actors relied on people like him to make dangerous scenes look normal. That's the job. You take the hit so the audience never sees the risk. The setup that day was a balcony fall on camera, a controlled stunt, aimed landing, safety teams on site. This is the part viewers will watch for 2 seconds and forget. But during the take, something goes wrong. The angle, the distance, the landing. In just a moment, everything changes. Production stopped. He was rushed for emergency treatment. He never recovered. Edge of the World. May 16, 2015. Yosemite National Park, California. Dean Potter was not a tourist. He was one of the most famous climbers and wingsuit BASE jumpers in the world. This was his lifestyle, his identity, and his job. That evening, Dean and a partner hiked up to Taft Point, a high cliff with a straight drop into open air. The plan was a wingsuit flight: jump, fly the rock line, clear the terrain, land in the valley. He had done versions of this many times. People watched him like he was superhuman. Wingsuit jumping is simple to describe and almost impossible to survive long-term. You leave the ground with nothing but fabric and skill. There is no backup if anything goes wrong. Sometime after takeoff, visual contact with the two jumpers was lost. Search teams went out overnight. By the next day, both men were found in the park. Neither one made it back. He was doing exactly what he chose to do, at the absolute edge of what a human body can attempt. 900 meters underground. October 14th, night shift. Adam Morgan reports for work at an underground coal mine that runs 24/7. This is not a hobby mine. This is deep longwall production, almost a kilometer below the surface. Where the air is dusty, the ceiling is alive, and every sound matters. Adam's job is routine, but not safe. He and the crew move heavy equipment, watch pressure in the rock, and keep the face producing coal. It's loud, it's cramped, it's paid well enough that people come back anyway. Hours into the shift, something changes. There's a sudden event in the seam, and then communications start breaking down. Rescue teams are called immediately, but getting to the section takes time. This is almost straight tunnel, and parts of that tunnel are no longer stable. When they finally reach the area, several miners are unresponsive. Adam Morgan is among the workers who don't make it out.
If you enjoyed this animation, please subscribe for more and support my small channel. Share your ideas for the next video in the comments.